Hi friends, long time no see. Sorry, I have these periods of times where I have to like step away. I was contemplating if this is even something like I want to continue to do. But I don't think the day that I was really questioning that it was necessarily all of my energy. But we're going to get right into this today. A lot of signs today, which is what pushed me to do this, because I only want to give readings when I feel led to. Anything that you do from a place of force with spirituality is not, I don't feel like, genuine. But we're back today. You could be feeling a little depleted, a little drained. You could be seeing a lot of bugs around your house. It's a sign to like cleanse your energy. I specifically back to back seen like two huge, they weren't like that big. Like the first one was like this big. The second one this morning though was like this big. They're called house centipedes. They look really crazy when you look them up, but they are a sign of purification, resilience, and hidden protection. I am still gonna like cleanse and sage my house because it's been a second since I've done it. But that could be significant for you. I was also hearing like somatic healing or doing some somatic work, physically moving your body and releasing. There could be like stuck energy. You could feel like stuck or stagnant right now in your energy. In your mindset, you can keep feeling like you're repeating the same pattern over and over again. And I feel like there's something about you needing to use all of your tools to help you release whatever this energy is. On my way home from the park, I've never seen like this many fireflies in one congested area like this, and it was just like one specific area. And then I was surprised that I could see them with like the headlights and stuff, but there was this where they were just like flashing on both sides, and I feel like there's something about like flashing lights or like you being watched, like people noticing you. I was also getting I was thinking recently about like the new clients that I've got with my business, and I thought about like when I just like flippantly, like about a month ago, just seen like a video of somebody warding their name, and I felt led to like say a word over my name, that whenever someone spoke my name in a conversation, I would receive money or new clients from it. And I didn't think about that, like I didn't make the connection until just now, because I know that there have been certain conversations with my name involved. And so I feel like warding your name could be very significant for you. You could just look up a YouTube video or do some research on Google as to how to, do that. But I definitely feel like protection is like important for you right now in whatever space you're in. Yeah, which could just be a place of like not even wanting to like listen to readings or like do the things or be a part of spirituality. And that's okay. Like it's okay to take a step back. It's okay to not want to hear any more readings about, what's coming and all of these things that are around the corner, because honestly it gets exhausting. Like it gets exhausting, it gets tiring, it gets like blah after so long. Because again, divine timing really does not subscribe to this like human realm. And so when you're constantly hearing that week after week, day after day, that shit will piss you off. Like it really will just like just make you want to disconnect entirely. Verse that I was getting at the park that kind of brought me to tears, because today has been a difficult day. And I'm not Christian, but I do see value like in some of the things, very specific things within the Bible. And I think that it's verses like this that I think are very beautiful. Like I heard it while I was sitting on the bench, but Jeremiah 29:11, for I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope in the future. And I feel like right now you can kind of feel like you're being played with, like you're being toyed with. Like you can feel like your entire life you've had to go through trials and tribulations and trials and tribulations and trials and tribulations, and you've been dedicated to this journey of self-love and self-healing and self-growth, and yet it still feels like you're being played with, like you're being toyed with, like you're being tested, like your strength and your fortitude are being like there's an attempt to crush it. And, you know, what doesn't, the reality of it is that what doesn't break you does make you stronger, you know, and it may make you colder for a second, because I am feeling that, like colder, closed off, like, but once that passes and you're able to get into a space where your nervous system somewhat feels safe, then you can see how much that experience and those experiences have fortified you. And, you know, expecting that there's ever going to be a point where like there isn't pain or there isn't trials and tribulations, like you're going to end up hurting and disappointing yourself. And I feel like there could be something significant around expectations, how you think or how you thought things were supposed to look. You could have a lot of expectations for this journey and how you assume that this journey was supposed to look. But the reality of it is that we don't know. The only thing we have control over is our peace of mind, is our state of being, is the internal peace, because anything outside of you, you don't have control over. You don't have control over people. You don't have control over situations, you know, even your finances. Like you can try your damnedest to save, and then something will come up that you'll have to drain that. Like it's so many things that you don't have control over, but your internal world is the only thing that you have control over. And that is what you have to focus on when everything around you is falling apart. And I feel like that could be significant for you during this time. Some numbers that I was getting, and I got a lot of them today: 777, that lucky energy. I said you could be feeling hopeful, or you can get bouts of hopefulness and optimism, and you don't necessarily know like where it's coming from, but it's coming from that point that is, because time is so weird, right? But there's some point within this current moment that you're vibrating in some timeline that exists in which you have the thing. You are at that place. You figured out that peace of mind. You figured out what circumstances you need. You figured out the mindset that you need to create the circumstances that you want. You're at that space where you've made the sacrifices. And again, it's not perfect, but there's a peace to it. And even in your moments of hopelessness, there's still something, and it could almost feel like irritating, because I feel like you're the sort of person that's like, you're tired and you want to give up, but you're stubborn. Like you won't give up. Like there's something in you that won't give up. And this little piece of hope that you have, that there's something about you that is going to make it out on the other side. Like you may teeter with it, you may play with the thought of like giving up and throwing the towel in, but you're not going to do it. Like that's just not how you're built. That's not how you're made. And you would give yourself no sort of peace, like at all. You would not let up on yourself if you did make that decision to just like quit. We got 888, that abundant energy. And I feel like this is specifically around like abundance of people in your life, in high quality people. You could have some people that are coming in, or some people that want to come in. And what I mean by coming in is, I mean like in this current moment. Like you could have been introduced to some people lately. You could have met some new people at your work. You could have started a new hobby and you're meeting some new people through that. And you can sense that their energy is like good, but I feel like there's a part of you that's still in this energy of like being distrustful, mistrustful. You know what I mean? Of like other people. Jadina just popped into my head. Maybe go look up like some of her most recent videos. But yeah, there could be something around like distrusting other people's energy and not being able to lean into new relationships 100% because you are expecting them to turn out the way that all of the other ones have. But you cannot create an old life with you cannot create a new life with an old mentality, is what I'm hearing too. So you're gonna have to release that, and that could be some of what like this difficulty in the stuck energy that you're moving through. Again, I feel like confirmation burp, like physical movement, meditation, hypnosis, Use all of the things, use all of the tools, use all of the modalities. Um, Fasting, um, whatever and however you need to get this stagnant energy out. If you do it, because you're going to feel lighter and you're going to feel a little stronger. It's going to give you a little more gas in your engine to keep pushing to this next point. I thought this was going to be a tarot reading, but it seems like it's going to be a channeled one, so we're just going to let spirit do what it do. 111, intuition, that intuitive number. You can feel a heightening in your intuition. I'm more so hearing like you've accepted that you are intuitive, and you've accepted to a certain extent the things that come along with being intuitive. But I feel like with this, what you've accepted is that there's a certain part of suffrage. I feel like right now you really do feel like the rest of your life is going to be like a continuous cycle of suffering. But if you equate difficulties and obstacles with suffering, then that is true. But I think it's about your perspective, right? Like, I think, again, when you approach it from this mentality of like, everything that I go through is meant to teach me a lesson, as irritating as that may be, it's the truth. Everything I'm going through is to fortify me in a particular area of my life, is to make me stronger in a particular area of my life. And if you're clear on your purpose here, and you are one of the light workers, then you know a lot of that purpose is around helping other people through similar situations that you've been through. Because anybody that knows like trauma, like, it's very difficult sometimes to hear from a person that has not gone through intense trauma tell you that they understand, because you know good and damn well that they don't understand. They can't relate to the depths of like your pain and the things that you have been through. And I feel like that could be part of your purpose of like going through this very difficult process and this very difficult time, and you having to configure a plan to like alchemize this energy could be the plan that you help other people kind of go through, like a 10-step program or whatever it is, because you're living it. You are going to be your biggest testimony, your biggest success story, which is, I mean, it's beautiful. You are your own therapist, your own life coach, your own mentor. Because I feel like a lot of these times, and especially if you're coming out of a period of isolation, you were the only person that could pick you up some days. Yeah. 333. I'm not getting the conventional like reading with this. I don't know why religion is coming up so much. You could be religious, you could be Christian specifically, or you could be in this sort of space where like you're deconstructing it, but you're kind of teetering back and forth a little bit. It could be something that you were like deeply indoctrinated in, and so it's been a bit of a hard time. You can feel like you're doing something wrong sometimes, but you know, it's important to identify where that feeling is grounded in reality, you know? Because like I said, I'm not Christian by any means, but I'm not gonna lie and say that like there's not part of Proverbs and Psalms that I don't find beautiful. I mean, I have a Bible verse on the back of my arm. To whom much is given, much is required. Things don't have to be one way. You don't have to have one set of beliefs. You can be into spirituality and still agree with or find certain aspects of the Bible or the Quran or the Torah. Like, you can find value in these books without assigning your identity to it. And I feel like that could be significant for you right now. You're trying to figure out who you are outside of a set of beliefs that was put on you, that you didn't even get to choose if this is what you really want to believe. You were influenced that this is something that you should believe. Like, this is the only way. This is the only truth. This is the only life that you can have. And I feel like with this 333, like I was hearing like Holy Trinity, Father, Son, and Spirit. I'm also hearing Maiden, Mother, Crone. I'm hearing something about like with this 3 number, like it has to do with like your mother, father, and you. Like that's the situation with this 3. I feel like that could be like something that you're working through, like a focal point of your journey at this point. It's something about the interconnectedness between the three energies. And then drawing that back to religion, this could be something, like I said, that you were indoctrinated into, that was kind of put on you, superimposed on you by your parents. And of course, they put it in you. They, taught it to you because they felt like this was going to be a beautiful guide to the way that you have lived life. Or for whatever reason, this is no longer in alignment with this current version of yourself. And I feel like that there's something that you're trying to sever there. And it could feel like, while severing and dismantling this view that you have around your religion, whatever, like I said, whatever this is, rather this is Muslim, Jewish, Jehovah Witness, Christian, Catholic, Hinduism, or even rather this is just even like really strict cultural norms that have been expected from you because it's something that was expected of them and they've superimposed on you. There's something about a strong set of beliefs that have been superimposed on you that you are trying to dismantle right now. And while you are dismantling, it also feels like you are dismantling your connection with your mother and your father. And then we got 444. And those two being in sequence with each other, I feel like it does feel like a shaking of your foundation. Again, I feel like this is why you feel like, and why this energy like feels so dense and hard to work through, because the energetic ties between us and our parents are very intricate, right? Like we are a physical manifestation of both of their energies. We are our own spirit, right? But like, you can't really separate entirely, in my opinion, from them energetically, because you come from them. Like I don't really know how that would work. I don't see how that would work. And in the physical realm, you don't have to have a relationship with them. You don't have to deal with them. You can still extend them love and not choose to participate in any sort of relationship with them. But energetically, the ties are going to be there. You can't run away from that. And so I feel like you're trying to reconcile that. And I feel like when you're in that process of like disconnecting from your family and you're disconnecting from the idea of what you thought your family was going to look like and the relationships that you thought you were going to have with your parents, that is part of what makes it so difficult. Why it feels like a literal death, why it's so much more painful than any breakup that you could ever go through, because you literally come from them. It feels like you are losing a part of yourself, and sometimes that's why it feels like it's so wrong, because it's, in a way, it's like I don't know, I feel like the people that get it. You're rejecting a piece of yourself. And I don't mean rejection in a negative way, because again, if they are draining your life force and they're toxic and they're mean to you and they're abusive, like, our body rejects certain things. It rejects alcohol. That's why when you drink, you vomit and you get inebriated and you lose your ability to like walk in a straight line. Like, we still drink it, but our body has a physiological response in which we reject it. And that rejection is important. That rejection is a form of protection. And I feel like around this dynamic with your family, like, you have to accept that you are rejecting a piece of yourself that is always going to be there, that is always going to be within you. And there's a certain level of acceptance that has to come along with that. Like, you have to understand that even though you're doing this incredibly difficult thing that may feel unnatural, it doesn't mean that it's wrong. It doesn't mean that it's wrong. And I think the best tool that you can use for that is thinking about them outside of the frame of that interconnectedness. Because I feel like you could be very caught up on that. Like, they're my parents, they're my parents, they're my parents. Right. Right. But if they weren't your parents, if they weren't your parents, if they weren't your brother, your sister, your cousin, your aunt, your uncle, whatever, if they didn't have the title of being your family, are these people that you would choose to have a relationship with? If you had a child, would you be excited about leaving them alone with this group of individuals? And it's not about feeling safe about, I mean, you could feel like they would be physically safe, but do you feel like they would be mentally sound? And for some of you, I still feel like you would come up with an excuse for that. So let's say if you did have a child, would you feel comfortable with your parents raising them in the same way that they raised you? Like, would that be a childhood? Would that be a situation that you would elect a person to go to and be like, I know that you're going to grow up a fully functioned, confident, self-fulfilled, individual if I put you in this environment? Like, I feel like that's the level of honesty that you're going to have with yourself around whatever this dynamic is, because you keep trying to sugarcoat it, and that's what's making it so confusing. That's what you have something in your head that's telling you, and rather it be through like this religious aspect. Is it's so interesting. Like, I've been watching these like atheist Christian debate sort of situations, and like things just keep hitting me and coming to me because I was deeply indoctrinated. And one of them had mentioned like a verse around like, even if your brother sins against you like 77 times, you should forgive him 77 times. And the question then becomes, how much is enough? That's the stuff where I feel like it's damaging, because some of us have given more than 77 chances for a new sort of relationship with a person. But it is disrespectful to yourself. You deserve better than to continue for the rest of your life giving chance after chance after chance to people that have no desire, no motivation to change. I think one of the most selfish, self-centered things that you can do is expect somebody to change because of you. It's just not possible. And so I feel like this ideology is making it difficult for you to disconnect from whatever this relationship is, but you dismantle the ideology and it will dismantle this sort of like dissonance that you're going through and feeling like you're doing something wrong, because you're not alone in that journey. You're not alone. I send you off with love. That is the end of this video. If you want to follow me on TikTok, it's Diary of a Hermit. Yeah, that's it. I send you off with love. Good night.